Next we shall discuss Old English vocabulary. An Anglo-Saxon dictionary contains about 20,000 words. The greater part of these are what may be described as the native words, that are the words that belongs to the vocabulary of Angles and Saxons that they brought from the German homes, their German homes. Even at the early period, signs of foreign elements and influences were visible. Certain of which had been inherited directly from Indo-European parent tongues. The runic symbol that we had discussed that denoted the modern English sound th. I shall show you that. The runic symbol denoted the present time sound or the present time modern English th. Now we shall see the cardinal numbers from 1 to 10. Let us first see the English words and then we shall see the Anglo-Saxon words for the same. Let us write 1 to 10. 1. The Anglo-Saxon for 1 was an. Then 2, the Anglo-Saxon word is tua. 3, the Anglo-Saxon word is 3. As we had seen just before, this runic symbol represents the. Now next is 4, which is represented by the spelling Feover. Then next we have 5, which is represented by Fifth. Next is 6, which is represented by CX. Next is 7, which is represented by Siophone. Next is 8, which is shown as Heta. Next is 9, which is shown by Nigon. Last one is 10, which is shown by Tien. So these are the Anglo-Saxon terms for cardinal numbers 1 to 10. To the same category falls the most striking features of nature, such as day, night, sun, moon, stars, wind, thunder, earth, fire, water, etc. The name of commoner animals too, such as mouse, cow, goose, wolf, etc. are of Indo-European origin, since most of them are creatures that would be associated with the daily lives of the nomadic tribes. The Anglo-Saxon word for tree was trio. An Anglo-Saxon word for shield was Cleo. H-L-E-O. The Anglo-Saxon verb erian, meaning to plow, can be traced back to the parent language and has cognate forms in all Germanic languages. And another remarkable fact is that there were words for red, yellow and all, but the most common color, green, had no, they did not have any term to describe the color green. The Old English dun, D-U-N, dun, meaning down or hill, was probably of Celtic origin. So was slough, S-L-O-H, slough, and also combe, small valley, which all comes as the suffixes of some place names like Ifracombe, Babacombe, etc. Then much more is Latin element. Latin element came through two ways. First of all, the Roman occupation, and secondly, the influence of Christianity in the 6th century. The word wall Anglo-Saxon V-E-A-L-L, descended from the Latin valum, V-A-L-L-U-M. The Anglo-Saxon mill, meaning mile, came from Latin mille passus, M-I-L-L-E-P-A-S-S-U-S. Then there was wine from the Latin vinum. Then the word via made its appearance in Old English period as weg, W-E-G. The word street came from via strata. So let us write this and see. The word wall comes from Latin valum. The Anglo-Saxon word mill for mile came from the Latin mille passus. The word vin, meaning wine, come from Latin term vinum. The word via, meaning road, came from Old English weg. The name street comes from via strata. The word money comes from the Anglo-Saxon term minute. Then there were also these traces of Roman occupation in the place names that enter in Chester and Castor. And also castra was the Latin term for camp, which is found in the language of the Anglo-Saxon as Seaster. This is Latin, this is Anglo-Saxon. The second class of Latin was to be found in Old English, which were introduced due to Roman Christianity. From the Latin monastrium comes the Old English minster, though at a later date the Latin word was re-borrowed as monastery. Monachus gives us Munich, M-U-N-U-C. Episcopus became bishop, and Priost, P-R-E-O-S-T, became priest, which comes from presbyter, which Latin in turn had borrowed from Greek. Then when it comes to Danish influence, the Danish influence can be seen in the place names that end by Toft, Thwaite and Thorpe. Store and car, S-T-O-R-R and C-A-R-R, which shows in the place names, are also of examples of Norse words. The word mother, M-A-W-T-H-E-R, is the local term for girl, which is developed from the Old English maid. So let us see that. So Danish influence can be seen in the endings by, Toft, Thwaite, Thorpe. Store and car are Norse words. Then the word mother, it was the local term of girl, and it developed from Old English term maid. The term husband was of Norse origin. Old English Svioster, meaning sister, came from the Norse term sister. Then the Old English term for ship was skippen, for ship. Then the hardening of C in Seaster made Castor as the ending, as we see in Doncaster. Then the hard G was due to the Danish influence. Words of closer family relationships like father, mother, brother, etc. existed in Old English. So also the names of the most staple foods like bread, butter, milk, meat, etc., which was of native origin, are also the words that are connected to home. The Old English word for star was Tior. Old English period was characterized by homogeneous Anglo-Saxon language, and it had highest degree of purity. It had some elements of Latin loanwords, some Norse words, etc. Then Old English word stock was enriched by Indo-European words, Celtic element, Latin influence, Scandinavian influence, etc. So let us see the influences of these languages on Old English. Indo-European words. Let us see the basic day-to-day transactions of life mostly came from Indo-European, which includes the cardinal numbers 1 to 10, and also the words man, tree, the words that are associated with nature and universe such as moon, sun, earth, fire, star, etc. Then fundamental concepts of farming and cultivation, and basic weapons like shield, and also basic colors like red and yellow. The elements of Celtic tongue is very microscopic. The reason is that the Britons, they were expelled soon by foreign invaders, and their language had not much influence on the languages of the invaders. The Anglo-Saxon, however, preserved some of the Celtic words which denotes cities, towns, rivers, mountains, etc., which refers to the natural features of landscape, etc. Place names like Kent, London, Cornwall, York, and first syllable of Winchester, Salisbury, Worcester. River names like Thames, Avon, Wye, Dover, etc. are traceable to Celtic origin. Words like dun, as I already told you, which refers to down or a hill, come, C-U-M-B, which refers to valley, and M-A-T-T-O-C, then dun, D-U-N, which refers to dark colored. All these are Celtic. So one reason why Celtic was short-lived is because was that most of them were very popular words which exist in spoken language and which were transmitted orally. They tended to die out because most of there was not much written script. Now let us see the Latin vocabulary. Latin vocabulary happened because of two things. First of all, the Roman occupation. Secondly, the Christian missionaries. Then from the Roman occupation we get words like vial, let us see the words. The words that we got through Roman occupation were mainly vial for wall, mill for mile, vin for wine, then cheese, butter, etc. And also suffix like Chester and Castor, which we see in place names like Manchester, Winchester, Lancaster, etc. Then there were also the word Diaphol for devil, the Nicht for night, and angel. Then the words that we got from Christian missionaries were words like priest, monk, bishop, pope, abbot, cross, like cross, saint meaning saint, etc. Then we also got words like Easter and hustle. This term was used as for sacrament. These are the words that we got through Roman occupations, the Latin vocabulary in Old English. Scandinavian, Norse or Danish element is also very important, and we see it is one of the three foreign influences on English language. The Vikings consisted of Swedes, Norwegians and Danes. Due to by the close of 8th century, a series of Danish inroads began, and Norsemen were attacked, and Danes became synonymous for plunderers and murderers. Later, by the Treaty of Wedmore in 878, Danes were allowed a particular place which was referred to as Danelaw, Then let us see the influence of Danish influence in Old English. It is mostly by the suffixes like by, hyphen by, toft, thwaite, thorpe, etc., which was used in the names of places. Then there were also like mother was the term used for girl. Then there were also nouns like anger, bank, boon, bull, crook, calf, dirt, down, egg, fellow, gate, gap, guess, husband, knife, keel, mire, race, rift, scales, sister, skill, sky, thrift, trust, window. Adjectives like black, meek, rugged, scant, weak. Verbs like call, crave, crawl, flit, gape, give, lift, get, raise, thrust, screech, etc. Preposition like till, pronoun like she, both, same, etc. all belongs to Norse language. The Norsemen were also seafarers and they contributed the term haven, which means merchant's harbor, and skipper was the Danish, in Danish means shipman. Most of the names of the days of the week were also of Norse origin. Like, let us see those, how the days of the week were shown in Danish. Tuesday was shown by the term Chivas. Wednesday by Whatness. Thursday by Thors. Tuesdag it is given. Wednesdag. Thursdag. And Friday by Frigus Dag. Then sometimes we come across the replacement of native word by some entirely Scandinavian word. For example, the Scandinavian word for take was Niman. The Scandinavian word for cut was Snidan. The Scandinavian term for anger was Vrad. The Scandinavian term for sister was Svioster. Pronouns they, their, them, etc. Had Norse forms like they, theira, them, etc. Them had, this is Norse. Norse words as they, theira, them. Some cases the native word survive but they take the meaning of Scandinavian word. For example, draum, D-R-A-U-M-R. The modern English is dream. B-R-A-U, the is bread. The older, this is draumer, meaning dream. Braut, meaning bread. Then there was also interesting phenomena of two words, one Norse and one Old English. We don't feel much difference in the meaning. Let us see that. First of all, we shall write English words, then we will write it Norse words and we shall see the similarity. No, the Norse is nei. Rare, it is race. Shirt, here it is skirt. Shabby, it is scabby. Ditch, it is dike. Not much difference. There are some similarities, right? Similarly, sick and ill, hide and skin. This we even use, these two we even use now. Craft and skill. So this is more like synonyms now. Church and kirk. See, all these words have got some similarities. Norse influence in English language is also seen in the modification of pronunciation of certain words. For example, C can be referred as ch, as in Manchester and Lancaster. Before a friend vowel can be pronounced as ch, as we see in Manchester. Example, Manchester. But where due to Danish influence it was hardened to k as Lancaster. Now Old English word g can be pronounced as y also. Sometimes g can be hardened. Example, give, get, egg, etc. It is hardened. Then the most of the words in the Scandinavian origin appears in written language only. Many of these have died, but many of them remains. So most of the English words and Scandinavians were used same kind of a rural life. So their words have also some similarities. As Otto Jespersen says, an Englishman cannot thrive or be ill or die without Scandinavian words. They are the language to what bread and eggs are to daily life fare. So just like some of the Scandinavian words are very much connected to our English language, that it's very difficult for English to survive without Scandinavian words. Now next we shall see Anglo-Saxon elements. It is mostly seen in the family relationships like father, mother, brother, etc. and the staple foods such as bread, butter, milk, meat, etc. and flowers, trees, vegetation such as rose, daisy, names of weapons such as sword, arrow, spear, etc. Then natural features like sun, moon, stars, etc. Then periods of time like years, months, weeks, etc. Alternative phrases like kith, kin, might, mean, fair, foul. Prefixes like forth, as we see in forthright, with, as we see in withstand. Then commoner suffix like down, ship, ness, hood, etc. Then there are processes of elevation, degradation, association, etc. Like how we have discussed, Clafford, etc. are turned into lord and lady. That is a kind of elevation. Then there is degradation. Just like Clafford and Claffords became lord and lady, steward was originally a term used for people who were attending pigs and cattle, but in Old English it became a kind of standard term. Now if we consider steward, it's a very standard term. Tun, actually it meant village, but it is elevated now as town. Then some degradation we see in knave. Actually, it meant a young man, but now knave is used as a negative term. Silly, the original Old English meaning was happy, but now it is used, considered in a negative way. Then, friend, Old English it was the term for enemy. Then, association of ideas comes in bread, just like Old English prayer, bead, just like Old English rosary of beads, etc. From that you get the term bead. Then another association of idea is bridal. As I told you, bridalu was the term used for the ale or the drinks that they had during wedding. So from that we got the term bridal. So that is also association of ideas. Thrill, Old English meaning was to pierce, and uncouth, Old English meaning was unknown. All these words we got from association of ideas. So mainly Anglo-Saxon elements we find this there is a change of meaning due to elevation, degradation and association of ideas. We have studied so many influences. We studied the Celtic influences. We studied the Indo-European words. We studied the Latin vocabulary. We studied the Scandinavian, Norse, Danish element. Then we also studied the Anglo-Saxon elements. So I hope Old English vocabulary is very much clear to you now. Thank you.